Hello everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an absolutely fantastic day. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. This was quite popular news or unpopular news. You'll see exactly why in a little bit. I was a little shocked at the way that people reacted to this, but I think if the tables had been turned, I think a lot of people also probably would have complained as well. So this is, I don't want to say it's going to be a lot, but there's definitely a lot to cover. Cryptocurrency market intelligence platform known as Masari, Messary, and its founder, Ryan Selkis, recently came under fire from people within Cardano following their 2024 report. Cardano community members complained that the report by Masari largely, completely, ignored the Cardano blockchain and their strides over the course of this year. A community member pointed out that Cardano had no single mention within the report, despite Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana being mentioned multiple times. So what a lot of this is, they're not as popular anymore, but a number of years ago, this was kind of like a really big trend. Cryptocurrency companies or companies looking at the cryptocurrency space would often release reports as to what they saw the crypto market was doing, the highlights, what the coins, how they were performing, you name it, who was getting into it. And it was one of the first metrics that we actually had from like an institutional standpoint of showing like what these coins actually meant to companies. So you've heard me before talk about the metric of like Bitcoin moving trillions of dollars worth of value. This is a way that institutions and companies also gauge how much they think that Bitcoin actually has. So if a blockchain is sending, $16,000 over the course of a week through their chain, cool, there's some value there. But then you look at Bitcoin and you see that Bitcoin's doing $280 billion in 1 week. That shows an additional amount of extra value from one chain, so therefore you'll go to the other chain as opposed to the first one. It's how many people are using it. It's how many, there's tons of metrics out there, and this is usually what these reports actually tend to do. We see a lot of favoritism in life, and I think that's something that people in crypto also need to sometimes, I don't want to say get into their heads, but it's more of you need to understand that as well. And I've tried to make points of it before in the past. A lot of times you will hear that you'll see that Mike Novogratz will give favor to Ethereum over any other coin except for recently. For those of you who missed it, Novogratz recently came out as a huge supporter of XRP, talking about how amazing the coin is now after all of the SEC nonsense that's been going on. But you'll tend to see a lot of times if people hold certain coins, or if like larger institutions got into the market at a certain time and they hold those coins specifically, they'll make reports about other coins that they probably hold specifically. Cardano is, however, a major coin in the market, and that is what I think made a lot of people very upset. They kind of went around, circumvented, swooped away from it nearly completely and didn't talk about it at all. But I think it's because, now hear me out here, I know people are going to get upset. I know people are going to rant and rave. I've seen the comments. Regardless of what I say or what my opinions might be, there's always going to be someone who disagrees with it. Believe me, I've read the comments and I've seen how nasty and crazy people can actually be. So, as I mentioned before, about a good 3 or 4 weeks ago, Cardano hasn't really been in the news comparative to other coins. So when you look at the news that's been popping out there, there's of course daily news about Bitcoin. There's a large amount of energy floating around Ethereum and more or less Polygon as well, which I believe also wasn't in the report. But it's about where Ethereum's going to go, if a flippening is going to happen, how high the price is going to go. Ethereum's once again deflationary because of all the usage, how high fees are. It's all these. Ethereum's constantly in the news as well. The database Solana is also in the news as well, regardless of, I'm not going to get into it because I can, regardless of what might or might not be happening with that database comparative to other coins out there, it's been in the news quite a lot in the last 2 or 3 months based off of manipulation. But of course, it's going to end up in this article if tons of people are talking about it over the course of however. Same exact thing with Binance coin and same exact thing with XRP. They're, coins that are in the news, one of them more so because of Changpeng Zhao and what he's currently going through, the new CEO of Binance, and how people expected Binance coin to completely collapse, and it did not. XRP is also in the news as well. So it does seem a little bit weird that Cardano is not there. But if you've been paying attention to the channel when it comes to like the daily cryptocurrency news aspect, Cardano has not had that same level of news. We've had information about Cardano upgrades and updates that are going to happen, but none that are immediately imminent. So we've heard before around autumn that Cardano is going to have a number of upgrades. And I told all of you back then, they probably wouldn't happen until sometime early next year. The Cardano team ecosystem has a very big thing where they tend to wait for like really hypey cycles to happen. That is to say, you announce the news as the market's going up, and or you announce it over the course of the beginning of a halving to get that full momentum swing up there. It is odd once again because Cardano is a major coin, but it was omitted, and a lot of people were like extremely upset. And I think in situations like that, it's more so if you believe in a project enough, it should not, but it usually does. It should not really matter what someone else is saying about something that you own that they do not. In that, over the course of the last decade, between Warren Buffett, his associates, what's this guy's name? Jamie Dimon, and the 18 other billionaires who now love crypto. They all spoke negatively about cryptocurrencies before. It doesn't really matter what they say, especially after all these years figuring out that they were lying, but it's more of a cool. If you got a cryptocurrency and you made 16,000% plus from the movements up over the last 5 years, you're doing well. There's not a real problem there, but you kind of make it your problem to say, well, they're talking negatively about this coin and therefore like they should only be saying nice things. You know how many coins I hold that other people hate? You know how many times I've been told that Ethereum's terrible and I should be buying Solana? How many times I've been told that XRP is terrible and I should have years ago bought Stellar Lumens? I also hold Cardano as well, and I was told by people years ago that I should have been buying Tron. Did I listen to these people? No, because most of these people are out of their gosh darn minds, and I knew exactly what I was doing for the projects that I was going to accumulate. However, a lot of people were quite upset. During the report, apparently, Bitcoin was mentioned 178 times. Ethereum was mentioned 96 times. Solana was mentioned 65 times. And Binance Coin and XRP were also talked about, but barely got any actual screen time, I guess, if you could say that. Binance Coin was mentioned 6 times and XRP was mentioned 3. Cardano was mentioned 0. It is what it is. We're constantly in this space of crypto tribalism, which I've gone over before. You normally would not see something as intense within the stock market. You wouldn't see people belittling other people because they hold Disney stock over Amazon or Amazon over Facebook or whatever is actually going on. But within crypto, whatever people tend to hold is usually the answer to like eternal life. That's the way that a lot of people treat these projects. It is what it is. I don't have the actual report. I don't care to go over it myself because for me, it doesn't really matter, regardless of what might have been said negatively or positively. Because a lot of times these reports, for those of you who've never read Masari reports or JP Morgan reports, you name it, is that there tends to be like a bit of a positive and a negative to what they say. So they will mention Bitcoin's very slow. Bitcoin did this. Bitcoin performed better last year. Bitcoin's price was so-and-so. But then they go over the actual metrics that give it value. So they'll say Ethereum still hasn't upgraded to, we're in staking world, but we're still not at the complete Ethereum 2.0. We're still not at 1 million transactions per second. We've had this decentralization problem. We had so-and-so and so. But on the other side, Ethereum has performed well comparative to other assets. And Ethereum has been doing this. And it's expected that Ethereum. So this is kind of the way that it goes. It is a bit weird. I will say again that Cardano was not in there at all. But don't let it get you down. If you believe in the project, if you believe what Charles Hoskinson says, if you believe in the vision and the future of these coins and where you think they're going to go and how high you think the prices will go, people will always talk negatively about you or what you have or what you own or what you do for the rest of your life. If you continue to let them drag you down, you're going to have a very difficult life. Just ignore them. Accumulate after you have done an egregious amount of research. Accumulate what you like, what you think is going to, have an extended life in the cryptocurrency market. And that's just then what you have invested in. But as you might have imagined, this was incredibly unpopular news. People were quite upset. But there's the last couple of years, there were tons of reports and articles that also had nothing but negative things to say about XRP. And then the lawsuit thing has kind of dwindled away, and now everyone's talking positively about it. So, yeah, that's apparently Masari released a crypto report for 2024 with 0 mentions of Cardano. I still assume in the next couple of weeks, we're going to see Cardano news flooding the market once again, because that's how it's been during the other cycles as we get closer to the halving. And yeah, let's move on. This is something that this is not a joke. This is something that I hope disappears in 2024, like explicitly. Like there's never again a mention of any of this kind of news again as we move into 2024. Cathie Wood is a majorly well-known investor in the traditional economic financial world, and she announced her foray into the cryptocurrency space a number of years ago, much to the hyper delight of a lot of people within the space. Part of the problem is that, my opinion, people hang on to her opinions and what she does as if it's like some form of gospel. She's kind of become, in a non-cringy way, she's become like the new Elon Musk, in that people pay attention to like everything that she does and they believe that it has some type of a significance comparative to the rest of the cryptocurrency space. So a lot of you might remember or have forgotten, years ago, this woman was bonkers, absolute bonkers for Coinbase stock. She was buying it up by the millions, and in almost similar fashion to Terra Luna Classic and Shiba Inu News. She was in the news daily or every other daily. She was literally buying 14 million, 28 million, 3 million. She was going on to CNBC. She was talking about how amazing the stock was, how great the company was, how she thought everything was going to be fantastic and amazing, and Coinbase is going to... And it's like, okay, cool, lady, we get it. And for some reason, that was like bullish to people in crypto. And I tried to tell people, hey, she's buying stock. She's not buying crypto. I think her company owns, I believe, a large amount of Bitcoin, but their main focus tends to be on like liquidity within the stock market, buying up these cryptocurrency companies, and then at some point liquidating, what have you. She began to become really popular until we got to, I believe it was the beginning of this year, where Coinbase got into a lawsuit with the US SEC. The weird part, for those of you who do not remember, is that after a year and a half or 2 years of exclusively buying Coinbase stock, the day before the lawsuit was even announced, she began to sell off Coinbase stock. And a lot of people on Twitter were like, wait, why'd you sell off the day before the news was even made public? And then the day after, they started buying up Coinbase stock again as the price was going down. I assume as like a shield to be like, no, look, we're still buying. And it's like, okay, sure, you had no idea what was happening behind the scenes. Since then, they've begun to buy a large amount of other stocks out there. But the problem is that this news remains popular in the cryptocurrency space. And like it's there daily. Like this is literally every single day. Like we get it. She's extremely wealthy. She's buying up tons of crypto. She's buying up tons of cryptocurrency company stock. There we go. But it's always touted as something like, look at what she's doing. Isn't this exceptional? I would like to assume she's not paying for her own articles to be in the news. But it's also like, who cares what this woman is doing? I don't, because if she was buying crypto, that's one thing, but she's buying stock. I don't. Okay. While Bitcoin rose above $44,000, Bitcoin supporter Cathie Wood's company Ark Invest continued selling without slowing down. They're talking about stock. At this point, Ark Invest, which has been selling Coinbase and Grayscale's Bitcoin investment trust GBT shares in recent weeks, recently sold more Coinbase and GBTC again. A lot of people, for those of you who haven't gotten the correlation, Grayscale's Bitcoin trust is basically an ETF in everything but letters. That's literally it. This is why they want the conversion and not a complete change of what they have. They want to basically go from a trust to an ETF. Cathie Wood was quite bullish on them a number of years ago, but hear me out here. I would logically assume, usually as we've seen premium on Bitcoin derivatives or Bitcoin-based things over the last couple of years, if Grayscale does indeed get a Bitcoin ETF, she's probably going to want to have the shares of BlackRock as opposed to Grayscale. That's just that's just kind of what I assume is going on. And also the selling of Coinbase. I don't know how this woman ever became bullish on Coinbase in the first place. I think now hear me out here, put on tinfoil hats and gloves and shoes as well. I felt like the last half of a year, no, even the whole year, this entire year has been weird. There was some obvious coordinated effort against Binance and against Kraken, against all these other cryptocurrency exchanges. But Binance in particular, of course, got the hardest hit. For those of you who missed it, the 3-point-something billion fine that they have to pay, which is also nonsense. So I think a lot of people were putting hyper focus on Coinbase, thinking that Coinbase was going to come out on top, as they expected Binance was going to collapse. That's what I talk about, like insider stuff going on, because there was far too much attention being paid to just Coinbase over the course of this year. Even when it came to 12 different companies only listing Coinbase as the custody solution for their ETF, it's like, okay, there are definitely other players out there who would probably more than suffice. But the entire thing where no one was like helping or trying to talk about Binance, and then Changpeng Zhao just happens to get in trouble, they're fined billions of dollars. I think, of course, in some way that we will never figure out was all coordinated. But I think what surprised a lot of these people is that Binance is still going. That's what I think the big shebang of all of this is that Binance is still popular. Do you remember after Changpeng Zhao, got into trouble in the States, the news immediately after was like almost like a resounding happiness. It was from that guy Scaramucci, and people from JP Morgan and people from Wall Street Journal, and I think even Novogratz as well. They were all saying like, now the cryptocurrency space is good. And I'm like, is it because Binance became the largest crypto exchange out of nowhere and none of you expected it, so you were trying to get it out of the way? But even with their brand new CEO, people are still, of course, using Binance. It's like one of the best crypto exchanges that we have, as they nearly have every single coin. Anyway, dragging it on back, this is why I think assumption, why she's been selling off Grayscale's shares is because she's anticipating larger companies to get into the actual ETF space, and selling off Coinbase because she probably and many other companies expected Coinbase to skyrocket after Binance got in trouble. But it didn't, because people continued to use Binance as well. Accordingly, the company sold 132,000 shares of Coinbase and 16,000 shares of Coinbase's next generation internet ETF. What? Apart from that, the company sold 398,000 shares worth $14 million of Grayscale's trust as well. So incredibly popular news, as it is every single day. Sure, why not? Fantastic. If I remember correctly, I think a lot of the early Cathie Wood news had to do with the fact that she was just simply buying Bitcoin. At some point, she shifted into stocks and other types of securities, but this is daily news now. I don't really understand the fascination around her. If this was a stock market, that is to say, like, not crypto market, but if we were exclusively here and everywhere else just talking about stocks, it would have a significant amount of, strength for us. But cool. So she's going to appear in the news once again. I'm going to try and slow down on the Cathie Wood news because she's cool. Like, I don't really care about rich people trading stocks or selling back and forth or whatever the case might be. But apparently in the cryptocurrency space, this is like major news. If someone can tell me why, that would be great, because I see no exact correlation to Coinbase and Bitcoin. That is to say, Coinbase is not Bitcoin. So her selling off Coinbase stock means absolutely nothing to me until we hear that she's bought, 47,000 BTC. Yeah, I think that's going to do it for this video. I do hope that you are all having a great day. Morning, afternoon, evening. Hope you're all having a great holiday season. Hope you're all finding time to relax. I want to thank all of you once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and or supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.